If I may, Jake, people who are here illegally, people who are not citizens, should not be allowed to vote. And numbers show, by Pew, numbers show that about 14% of people who are not citizens are registered to vote. People who are dead voted in Colorado. Those are the kind of instances, the kind of voter fraud we want to make sure does not happen.
Boris, just quickly.
That Barack Obama may have won. That Barack Obama may have won in 2008 North Carolina due to illegal voting.
Oh
Go ahead, Jake. Sorry.
Boris, where are you getting that from? Barack Obama won in North Carolina because of voter fraud?
It's outrageous.
The Washington Post story that just came out a few days ago. Take a look at the Washington Post story.
Outrageous.
That is saying that about 5% of voting in North Carolina may have been by people who are non-citizens who should not have been voting and swung North Carolina to Mr. Obama, to President Obama, because of how tight
Boris,
that race in North Carolina was.
Will Mr. Trump accept the results of this election? I guess that's just the main question. Is he going to accept the results of the election?
Listen. That's what he said. That's what he stuck to.
He said it, and then he took it back.
We're going to win this election.
He said it, but took it back.
Jake, we're going to win this. We're going to win this election. We're going to win it with a message on national security and on the economy, and the fact that Hillary Clinton is disqualified from being president, not just from the WikiLeaks information, but from what we now know as the quid pro quo from the State Department, offering to declassify information in return for some FBI slots overseas.
Angela?
More and more is coming out. We now know she cannot be allowed to be president.
Okay, Angela?
So, Jake, as someone who prides herself in being a political nerd, I'm eager for the day that this election turns to something to address issues. We still can't address issues because instead of even WikiLeaks, we can't get to that because we have to deal with Trump's sexual assault of women.
Let's talk about WikiLeaks. I'd love to talk about WikiLeaks.
No, I'm sure you would, because you'd really not rather talk about the sexual assault issue.
No corroboration.
Oh, no, there is. There's actually more corroboration of Donald Trump sexually assaulting than there is of Barack Obama winning North Carolina because dead people voted for him.
Those are numbers,
so I think,
and they're not dead people, they're people who are here illegally.
Or either way, the point of the matter is we're going to now not only invalidate his citizenship, but the fact that he shouldn't even be president of the United States.
No one is talking about that. This was a report in the Washington Post that specifically talked about the fact that people who should not be voting voted in North Carolina. Now, as far as the issues, let's talk about the issues.
I'm sure that there is voter fraud, and I'm sure that people who should not have voted voted. But you're suggesting, stunningly, that the only reason President Obama won North Carolina in 2008 is because of corruption in the electoral process, and it's an astounding charge that I have never heard before you said it.
Hold on. Jake, that is not what I'm suggesting. What I'm suggesting, and look at the Washington Post article, that there's an argument to be made that enough people who should not have been voting in North Carolina in 2008 voted to swing the election, which was decided by about over 100,000 votes, to President Obama. And we want to make sure, again, that in this election cycle, the election is full of integrity, the election is proper, and people who are not shouldn't be voting are not voting. That's the bottom line. And I'd love to talk about issues. I'd love to talk about our suggestion on ethics reform and making sure people are not lobbying the government right after leaving it. I'd love to talk about that.
Angela, I want to give you the last word.
And draining the swamp.
I just think this is extremely rich from a campaign that has demonstrated no integrity, no transparency. We're still waiting on Donald Trump's tax returns. We're talking about emails now and FBI files now that involve someone that it wasn't even Hillary Clinton. We've spent all week talking about WikiLeaks that don't have anything to do. I'm not done, Boris. They don't have anything to do with Hillary Clinton. It's John Podesta's email. So it's just interesting to me that Donald Trump is never responsible for his surrogates, for his staff, ever. But Hillary Clinton has to be responsible for the president, for the undersecretary, for her chief of staff. It's just not even parallel. So we have a debate on the issues that make sense because we're all over the place in comparisons.
No, Boris, I'm sorry. That's all the time we've had.
Hillary Clinton was responsible for sexual assault.
Podesta is the chair of the Clinton campaign. Of course it has to do with her. She's the one that set up the server. She's the one that broke
Boris.
the laws.
Angela, thanks to both of you. Really appreciate it. I'll talk to you in Las Vegas soon. More stolen emails from the Clinton campaign have been released, and one might make all those Bernie bros burning mad. That story next.